You say you want to be great. You say you want success. You say you want to reach the top. But let me ask you something. Are you willing to be unstoppable? Unstoppable doesn't mean you don't get tired. Unstoppable means you don't quit. You see, life is going to hit you. It's going to knock you down. But guess what? Being unstoppable is about what you do after you get knocked down. You lost the job, get back up. You failed the test, get back up. They walked away, get back up. You don't need permission to chase your dream. You don't need applause. You don't need the crowd. What you need is grind. What you need is heart. What you need is that voice inside that says, I will not stop until I win. Listen to me, unstoppable is not about talent. It's about consistency. It's not about luck. It's about character. It's not about the spotlight. It's about the sweat you put in when nobody's watching. You don't become unstoppable by accident. You decide to be every single day. So I'm asking you right now, are you going to let fear stop you? Are you going to let failure stop you? Or are you going to rise, grind, and repeat until the dream is real? Be relentless, be resilient, be unstoppable. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep getting up every time life knocks you down. That's the truth. That's the mindset of champions. Too many people think success is about being flawless, about never making a mistake, about always having everything figured out. But let me tell you something. Perfection is a myth. It's a trap. It's the lie that keeps people from starting, that convinces them they're not good enough, that whispers in their ear, you messed up. So it's over. That lie is powerful, but it only has power if you believe it. Look around. The most successful people in the world, they're not the ones who never failed. They're the ones who never gave up. They kept going. They kept pushing. They kept rising after every fall. Every time life hit them, they made a decision. I'm getting back up. I'm not staying down. I'm not letting this moment define me. And that's what resilience is. That's what separates those who dream from those who do. The difference isn't talent. It's not intelligence. Resilience. See, resilience is built in the fire. It's forged in the dark. It's tested in those moments when you want to quit. When everything in you says, I can't. That's when resilience shows up. That's when you make the decision to move forward anyway. Not because it's easy, but because it matters. Because your purpose is bigger than your pain. Because you know deep down what's on the other side of that struggle is worth fighting for. You're going to fall, that's a guarantee. But falling doesn't mean you fail. It means you're in the game. It means you're moving. And progress never looks perfect. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it hurts. But every setback is a setup. Every failure is feedback. Every fall is an opportunity to rise stronger. Think about a baby learning to walk. How many times do they fall? Over and over again. But do they quit? Do they stop trying because they stumble? No, they fall, they cry, they get up, and they try again. Why? Because it's instinct. Because deep down there's a fire that says, I'm meant to walk, I'm meant to run, I'm meant to move forward. That same fire's in you, it never left. Life might have tried to put it out, but it's still there. You've just got to breathe on it, feed it, protect it, let it grow. Every time you get back up, you're proving something. You're proving that circumstances don't define you. Your choices do. You're proving that no matter how life gets, you've got something harder. You've got grit. You've got drive. You got a heart that refuses to give in. And that's power. That's strength. See, people will count you out. They'll look at your failures and say, oh, they're done. But what they don't see is your fight. What they don't see is the way you show up every day, even when you don't feel like it. What they don't see is the quiet courage it takes to keep going when everything in you says stop. That's where champions are made. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows. In the moments when no one is clapping, when no one is cheering, but you're still working, you're still moving, you're still rising. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to have it all together to make progress. You just have to commit. Commit to getting back up, to take the next step. To refusing to let your past dictate your future. The truth is, your past doesn't disqualify you, it prepares you. Every scar, every loss, every mistake, it all taught you something. It made you wiser, it made you stronger, it made you more dangerous in the best way possible. So when life hits, and it will, you get back up. When you fail, you rise again. Because the only people who never fall are the ones who never try. And if you're trying, you're already ahead. You're already in motion. And that motion builds momentum. That momentum becomes confidence. And that confidence becomes belief. Belief that you are capable. Belief that you are worthy. Belief that you are unstoppable. You gotta make a decision. A choice to see failure as fuel. To stop letting fear have the final word. To stop waiting for the perfect moment and start moving with imperfect action. Because action is what changes everything. Not perfection. Action builds resilience. And resilience leads to greatness. You might not feel ready, you might not feel strong. But strength isn't a feeling, it's a choice. Choosing to rise, no matter how many times you fall. It's choosing to believe in yourself, even when the world doubts you. It's choosing to keep climbing, even when the mountain seems impossible. Because every step you take is a declaration. I will not stay down. I will not be broken. I will rise. And let me tell you something, there is nothing more dangerous than a person who refuses to quit. There's nothing more unstoppable than someone who's been through hell and still chooses to move forward. That's who you are, that's who you can be. But you gotta decide, right here. Motivation phase. It's about mindset, about determination, about grit. Life won't hand you your dream. You gotta fight for them. You gotta show life you're not leaving empty-handed. That no matter how many times you fall, you're gonna stand up one more time. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna feel tired. You're going to doubt yourself. But don't let that stop you. Let it shape you. Let it mold you. Let it remind you that your strength isn't in being perfect. It's in being persistent. The real win isn't in never falling. It's in rising again with fire in your eyes and purpose in your heart. So the next time life knocks you down, smile, because you know something it doesn't. You know that you're not done. You know that the story isn't over. You know that every fall is just a chapter, not the conclusion. And you've already written the best part of your story. It's the part where you get back up. You don't have to be perfect, just resilient, just committed, just relentless. Keep getting back up and you'll become unstoppable. Motivation is fleeting. It's that spark that lights a fire in you when you hear a great speech, watch an inspiring video, or get hyped about your goals. But here's the truth. That fire burns out. The energy fades. It disappears when life gets hard, when the day gets long, or when results don't come as fast as you expected. That's why you can't rely on motivation alone to get where you want to go. If you want to win, you need something deeper, something stronger, something unshakable, something unshakable. That something is discipline. Discipline is what carries you when motivation disappears. It's the muscle you build every day when you choose to do the work, whether you feel like it or not. It's the voice that says, get up, when your body says, stay down. Discipline doesn't care about your emotions. It doesn't need hype. It doesn't need applause. It just shows up every single day. And if you want to be great, you have to do the same. You see, discipline is about consistency. It's about showing up for your goals like they matter, because they do. Motivation might get started on Monday, but discipline is what keeps you grinding on Thursday when you're exhausted and on Sunday when no one's watching. That's the separator. That's what makes the difference between someone who dreams and someone who executes. Motivation is emotion. Discipline is commitment. Most people live their lives waiting for motivation to strike. They wait for the perfect move, the perfect conditions, the perfect time. But that time never comes. Because success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't care if you're tired or discouraged or uninspired. It only responds to work, to effort, to action. So while others wait for motivation, the disciplined are already moving, already building, already winning. Discipline is not glamorous, it's not exciting. It's not something you can post about with flashy captions and filter. Soft and boring, but it's effective, it's powerful, and it compounds over time. The small things you do every day, the habits you form, the routines you stick to, that's what transforms your life. Not the occasional burst of energy, but the consistent application of effort. Day after day, week after week, year after year. Let's be honest, there will be days when you don't want to do it. When the alarm goes off and everything in you says to just 5 more minutes. When the workout feels like too much. When the studying feels pointless, when the grind feels endless, that's when discipline steps in. Discipline says, I'll do it anyway. Discipline says that this is who we are. Discipline says, we don't negotiate with weakness. When you operate with discipline, you stop depending on feelings. You start depending on system. You don't need to feel motivated to go to the gym. You go because it's part of who you are. You don't need to feel inspired to work on your business. You work on it because that's what success demands. That's what winners understand. Discipline isn't a punishment. It's a path, a process, a daily choice to become better, stronger, sharper. The world is filled with talented people who never reach their potential. Why? Because they were waiting to feel like working. But the successful, they didn't wait. They worked when it was hard. They trained when it was inconvenient. They practiced when no one else was. They didn't need a reason. They had a routine. That's the key. When you remove your feelings from the equation and focus on your mission, you become unstoppable. And here's the thing. Discipline gets easier over time. The more you show up, the more natural it becomes. It turns into momentum. It turns into confidence. You start trusting yourself. You start believing in your ability to follow through. And that belief becomes a weapon. Because now you know when things get hard, you won't fold. When things get rough, you won't quit. You've trained for this. You've built yourself for this. Discipline also creates freedom. That might sound strange, but it's true. When you're disciplined, you take control of your time, your energy, your future. You don't get pushed around by distractions. You don't get pulled off course by temptations. You make decisions based on purpose, not pressure. And that gives you power. The power to choose your life instead of settling for whatever life throws at you. There's nothing wrong with motivation. It can be a great spark.
That's not sustainable. It comes and goes. It's emotional, and emotions are unstable.
Discipline, on the other hand, is stable. It's grounded. It's built on principle, not moods. That's why discipline will take you places motivation never will. Imagine you want to build a house. Motivation is the excitement you feel when you look at the blueprint. When you imagine a finished product, that excitement might get you started, but it won't lay bricks. It won't pour cement. It won't lift beam. That's what discipline does. Discipline shows up every day and does the work, even when it's hard, even when it's not fun. If you want to build something real, something that lasts, you need discipline. You need to be able to say, this matters to me, and I will do it, no matter what. Not, I'll do it when I feel like it. Not, I'll wait until things are easier. But I'll do it now. I'll do it now. I'll do it consistently. I'll do it with intention. That mindset, that's what leads to results. And here's something else. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. It's a skill. You build it by keeping promises to yourself, by doing the things you say you would do, even when no one's watching, by proving to yourself over and over again that you are reliable, that you are trustworthy, that you have what it takes. Every time you follow through, you reinforce that identity. And eventually it becomes who you are. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You just need to show up, do the work, and trust the process. That's what discipline looks like. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's effective. It builds champions. It creates legacy. It turns dreams into reality. So stop waiting. Stop depending on motivation to save you. It won't. Build discipline instead. Build the habits. Build the routines. Build the mindset that said, I don't need to feel like it. I just need to do it. And once you internalize that, there is no goal you can't reach, no obstacle you can't overcome, and no dream that's too big. Because discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. Make the choice. Build the discipline and watch your life change, not overnight, but over time. Brick by brick, step by step. With discipline, everything is possible. Life is full of obstacles. That's not a negative mindset. It's reality. Every path worth walking is lined with setbacks, challenges, and unexpected hurdles. And the truth is, no matter how talented you are, how driven you feel, or how carefully you plan, you're going to get knocked down. It's inevitable. The question isn't whether you'll face adversity. The question is, what are you going to do when it shows up? That's where the power of getting back up comes in. Resilience isn't optional if you want to be unstoppable. It's required. It's non-negotiable. Most people treat failure like it's the end of the road. They make one mistake, fall short one time, or face one big rejection, and they decide it's over. But that's the wrong perspective. Failure is never final unless you quit. It's not the end. It's feedback. It's a teacher. It's the universe asking, how bad do you really want this? And if your answer isn't loud, clear, and backed up with action, you weren't committed in the first place. Getting back up means having the heart to fight even when everything in you is screaming to give up. It means choosing perseverance over pity, growth over excuses. It's easy to keep going when everything is smooth, when you're winning, when people are cheering. But what defines a person, what defines greatness, what happens when the cheering stops, when the spotlight is gone? When nobody is watching and you're faced with the pain of falling short, that's when your character is revealed. That's when your grit is tested. And if you can rise in that moment, if you can look failure in the face and say, you didn't break me, you've already won. Because getting up again and again, that's where real strength is built. That's where champions are born, not in comfort, but in chaos. Let's be honest. Getting back up isn't glamorous, it's messy. It's painful. It can be lonely. It's crying in silence, wiping your own tears and saying, I'm not done. It's standing up with shaky legs and moving forward with a bleeding heart. But it's also powerful, because every time you do that, you build something unshakable inside of you. You build courage. You build tenacity. You build proof that no matter what happens, you won't stay down. People often want to know the secret to success, like it's some formula or a hack. But it's not complicated. The real secret is simple. Don't stay down. Life will knock you down. People will doubt you. You'll doubt yourself. But if you keep rising, you'll outlast the pain. You'll outlast the critics. You'll outlast the old version of you that used to settle for less. That's what it means to be relentless. That's what it means to be unstoppable. You can't avoid setbacks, even the best fall, even the strongest struggle. But it's what you do with the fall that counts. You can use it as a reason to retreat or as fuel to rise. Every time you get back up, you're telling life, you can't break me. You're telling your goals, I'm not going anywhere. You're telling yourself, I'm stronger than I thought. You have to understand success is not a straight line. It's a crooked, brutal, uphill battle. And sometimes the people around you won't understand why you keep pushing. They'll say, why don't you just give up? But they don't see your vision. They don't feel your fire. That's not their fault. It's not their dream. It's yours. And if it's yours, then you got to protect it, fight for it, and get back up every single time you fall chasing it. Think about any person who's ever achieved anything worth talking about. They didn't get there by winning every time. They got there by losing and learning, by falling and rising, by breaking and rebuilding. They got there because they refused to stay down. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's resilience. It's grit. It's the refusal to quit. Sometimes the fall will shake you. It will make you question everything. It will make you wonder if you're good enough, if it's worth it, if it's even possible. That's normal. That's human. Feelings aren't facts. Just because you feel broken doesn't mean you are. Just because it's hard doesn't mean it's hopeless. You have more inside you than you know. And the only way to find that out is to keep going. Getting back up is how you grow. Pain is a powerful teacher. Setbacks develop skills that comfort never will. When you fall, you learn about humility. When you fail, you learn about patience. When you get hurt, you learn about compassion. And when you get back up, you learn just how powerful you really are. You don't become strong by avoiding pain. You become strong by surviving it, by walking through it, by refusing to let it define you. And the more times you rise, the easier it gets. Not because the fall hurts less, but because your identity shifts. You start seeing yourself as a fighter, as a warrior, as someone who bends but never breaks. That mindset, that belief in yourself becomes a weapon, a shield, a force that nothing can touch. Even when you're tired, even when it feels like you've failed too many times, even when you've lost things that meant everything to you, keep getting up, keep showing up, keep pushing. That's how you break through. That's how you earn the respect of the only person who really matters in this fight, yourself. Your story is not over just because you're in a dark chapter. Maybe you've been knocked down by life, by people, by circumstances. Maybe you made mistakes, lost time, or wasted opportunities. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. What will make you powerful is what you do now. Will you lie there in defeat, or will you rise and rewrite the story? Every great comeback starts with a decision to rise, to face the pain, to carry the lessons, to move forward with scars and strength. And make no mistake, when you rise, people will notice. Your story will inspire others. Your fight will give someone else hope. But that's just a bonus. The real reward is internal. It's knowing that no matter what, you didn't give up on yourself. So the next time you fall, don't waste energy asking why it happened. Don't sit in self-pity. Don't replay the mistake over and over in your head. Get up, adjust your mindset, recommit to your mission, and keep moving. You can't lose if you refuse to stay down. Getting back up is the most powerful statement you can make. It's how you tell the world you're still in the game. It's how you remind yourself that this journey belongs to you, not to the fair, not to the pain, not to the opinions of others. You own this fight. And if you keep rising, keep fighting, keep believing, you become a force that nothing can stop. Not every fall is a failure. Sometimes it's just a reset, a reminder to regroup, refocus, and rise stronger. But you only find that strength if you keep showing up. So no matter how many times life knocks you down, get back up. Every single time. Because that's what unstoppable looks like. Most people go through life underestimating their potential because they are constantly seeking validation from others. They wait for someone to approve their dreams, to clap for their efforts, to tell them they're good enough. But the truth is, if you want to be unstoppable, you have to stop waiting for permission. You have to stop depending on the world to recognize your greatness before you act on it. You must believe in yourself, fiercely, consistently, unapologetically, even when no one else does. Believing in yourself is not just some motivational cliche. It's the foundation of all achievement. It's the root of every breakthrough, every invention, every dream that ever became reality. Before the world believes in you, before the crowd starts cheering, you have to be your own biggest supporter. You have to see the vision clearly in your mind and trust it. Even if no one around you sees what you see, that's where belief becomes power. Too often, people confuse external validation with internal value. They think they're only worthy if others say so. But you weren't created to live by other people's standard. You weren't born to fit into someone else's box. Greatness doesn't come from being accepted. It doesn't come from being accepted. It comes from being authentic. It comes from showing up in your own skin with your own dreams and saying, this is who I am and this is where I'm going. There are moments in life where you will feel alone, misunderstood, or even ridiculed. People may doubt you, question your decisions, or tell you that you're dreaming too big. That's okay. Let them talk. Let them laugh. But don't let their doubt plant roots in your heart. Because the moment you let someone else's opinion become your reality, you've handed them the pen to write your story. And that story, that belongs to you. Not to the critics, not to the skeptics, not to the ones who gave up on their own dreams. Self-belief means trusting that your work matters even when it goes unnoticed. It means putting in the hours, grinding in silence, showing up when nobody claps, and still saying, I'm not done yet. It means keeping your head high when the results don't come quickly. Because belief is not about instant rewards. It's about unwavering faith in the long game. Think about the people who changed the world. They didn't start out with applause. They started with a belief, a dream, a voice inside that told them to keep going. The Wright brothers didn't have millions cheering when they worked on the first airplane. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. Oprah was fired from her job because she wasn't fit for TV. These stories aren't just motivational. They remind us that belief in yourself is often the only thing you'll have in the beginning. You have to look in the mirror and say, I am enough. I have what it takes. I may not be there yet, but I'm on my way. And then you have to act like it's already true. Walk with confidence, speak with conviction. Move with purpose. Not arrogance, but certainty. Certainty that you're committed, capable, and ready to rise. Even if it's inch by inch. Belief is built, not born. It's not something you either have or don't have. It's something you grow every day through choices, habits, and self-talk. If your inner voice constantly says, I'm not good enough, then your actions will follow. But if your inner voice says, I can learn, I can improve, I can overcome, then nothing can stand in your way. So the question is, what kind of conversation am I with yourself? Your self-talk shapes your identity, and your identity shapes your actions. If you start seeing yourself as capable, as someone who follows through, as someone who refuses to quit, then you'll start making decisions that match that identity. You'll start showing up with a fire in your eyes, not to prove others wrong, but to prove yourself right. Some people are waiting for the right time to believe in themselves. After the promotion, after the money, after the recognition. But that's backwards. The belief comes first. The success follows. You have to believe before the evidence shows up. You have to commit before the results. That's faith. That's what separates those who talk from those who do. And let's be clear. Believing in yourself doesn't mean you won't feel fear. It doesn't mean you won't doubt. It means you don't let fear and doubt control you. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep moving despite it. Self-belief gives you that courage. It reminds you that fear is just a signal, not a stop sign. There will be times when you try and fail, when you aim high and fall short, when you invest everything and get little in return. Those are the moments where belief matters most. Anyone can be confident when things go well, but true belief is forged in the fire. When the plan falls apart, when the support disappears, when all you got left is a whisper inside saying, try again. Don't let temporary circumstances shake permanent truth. You were born with value. You were created with purpose. You have something to offer that the world has never seen before. But that gift will only come to life if you believe in it enough to nurture it, protect it, and unleash it. And that process, it starts with you. Sometimes the people closest to you won't understand. They might think you're wasting your time. They might want you to take the safe route. Not because they want you to fail, but because they're afraid. Afraid for you, afraid of uncertainty, afraid of their own unfulfilled dream. But don't let their fear silence your faith. Don't let their limits become your ceiling. The ones who rise, the ones who achieve the impossible, they all have one thing in common. They build on themselves. When the world said no, they said yes. When the world said stop, they said go. When the world laughed, they worked harder. And eventually, the world noticed. But by then, they didn't need the applause because the belief was already solid, already rooted, already unstoppable. Every single day is a chance to choose belief over doubt, to choose action over hesitation, to choose self-respect over self-doubt. You won't always feel ready. You won't always feel motivated, but you can always choose to believe, and that choice will shape your entire life. Don't wait until you have it all figured out. Don't wait until you feel 100% confident. Start now with the little you have, with the belief that you'll grow, adapt, and improve. Trust yourself. Invest in yourself. Speak life into your dreams. Because if you don't believe in you, why should anyone else? You're not just chasing a dream. You're building legacy. And legacies aren't built by people who seek constant approval. They're built by people who stand firm in who they are and where they're going. Decide today. You don't need permission. You don't need applause. You just need belief. And once you lock into that belief, you become unstoppable. Being unstoppable is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not even about timing. Being unstoppable is about consistency, showing up every single day, whether you feel like it or not. It's about pushing yourself to keep going long after the motivation is gone, long after the applause fades, and long after everyone else has given up. Consistency is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the ones who talk from the ones who deliver, the ones who start strong from the ones who finish strong. Most people are excited in the beginning. They're fired up on day one, hyped up after a good speech, ready to take on the world after a new goal is set. But then Monday comes, then life hits, then discomfort sets in. And that's where most people stop. But the ones who are truly unstoppable, they don't stop when it's hard, when it's hard. When it's boring, that's boring. They don't stop when it's slow. They keep grinding, keep pushing, keep rising, because they know consistency beats intensity every single time. You can have the best plan in the world, but if you don't execute consistently, it's just a wish. You can talk about your dreams, write them on your wall, even scream them out loud. But if your actions don't match your words, nothing changes. Greatness doesn't come from occasional brilliance. It comes from daily commitment. From doing the little things with excellence over and over again until the big things take care of themselves. Consistency is about mastering the basics. It's waking up early, even when your body says sleep. It's showing up to train when your muscles are sore. It's doing the hard work that nobody sees, knowing that someday they'll see the results. It's easy to be consistent when everything's going right. The real test is who you are when nothing is working, when your bank account is low, when your energy is drained, when your path feels unclear. That's where consistency builds champions. We live in a world that glorifies fast results. Everybody wants it now. They want the promotion without the patience, the spotlight without the struggle. But if you study the greats, athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, you'll find one thing in common. They outlasted the noise. While others quit at the first sign of resistance, they kept showing up. Not just for weeks, not just for months, but for years, sometimes decades. Because they knew something most people forget. Momentum is built in the shadows, not in the spotlight. When you are consistent, you develop discipline. And discipline is the ultimate freedom. It's the power to control your emotions, to override your excuses, to make decisions based on goals instead of moods. Discipline says, I don't feel like doing this today, but I'm going to do it anyway. Discipline says, this isn't fun right now, but it's necessary. It's not glamorous. It's not sexy, but it's what builds greatness brick by brick. There will be days you doubt yourself, days when progress feels invisible, days when the grind feels endless. But that's when you must lean even harder into your habits. Your habits become your anchor when the storm hits. You don't rise to the level of your feeling. You rise to the level of your routine. When others are distracted, you stay focused. When others are inconsistent, you remain committed. When others are waiting for the perfect conditions, you create your own conditions through discipline. The beauty of consistency is that it compounds. Each day you show up adds weight to your identity. Each rep you push through, each early morning, each sacrifice, it all adds up. You begin to see yourself differently. You're no longer someone who's trying, you're someone who does. You build confidence through evidence. And the more you do the work, the more you start believing that no obstacle can stop you. Success is not built in giant leaps. It's built in steady steps. It's not about going 100 miles per hour for a week. It's about going 5 miles per hour every day for a year. For a year. Because slow progress is still progress. One more page, one more call, one more rep, one more out. That's how the dream is built. Not overnight, but over time. There's power in just being consistent longer than your competition. You may not be the most talented. You may not have the best resources. But if you can outlast them, outdiscipline them, outwork them, then eventually they'll fall away. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because they're inconsistent, because they stop doing what works. They get bored with the process. But you become unstoppable when you fall in love with the process. There will always be distractions, social media, comfort, opinions, shining new ideas. Consistency requires focus. It requires saying no to what doesn't serve the goal. It means having tunnel vision, not in a narrow way, but in a disciplined way. You're locked in. You're committed. You know why you're doing this. And nothing, no noise, no trend, no failure can pull you off track. And don't get it twisted. Being consistent doesn't mean being perfect. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to slip. You're going to have days when you fall short. But consistency isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. It's about saying, yesterday wasn't my best, but today I'm back. It's not a straight line. It's not a clean journey. But it's relentless, unshakable. That's the kind of consistency that leads to mastery. Eventually, the results will come. The world will notice. The breakthroughs will arrive. But by then, you'll realize something even more powerful. The real win wasn't the trophy. The real win was becoming the kind of person who could earn it, a person who didn't give up, a person who honored their commitments, a person who kept going when quitting was easier. That's what consistency gives you, a new identity, a new standard, a new level. So if you want to be unstoppable, don't chase intensity, chase consistency. Don't rely on mood, rely on mission, show up every day, rain or shine, or energized, motivated or not. Show up and do the work. Because that's what builds unstoppable momentum. That's what turns goals into realities. That's what transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Don't wait for the right feeling. Don't wait for the perfect day. Decide today to be consistent. Because the version of you that stays disciplined, that stays focused, that stays the course, that version is a force that nothing can break. And once you unlock that version of yourself, you are truly unstoppable. Most people dream of achieving greatness. They talk about success, they fantasize about it, they post about it, and they plan for it. But the truth is, only a small percentage actually experience it. And that's not because the rest aren't smart enough or talented enough. It's because they don't finish. They don't stay the course. They're inconsistent. They give up too soon. They walk away when things get difficult or boring or slow. But the ones who succeed, the ones who truly become unstoppable, are the ones who understand this fundamental truth. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be consistent. When you chase success, you're not just chasing a destination. You're chasing a transformation. You're becoming a different person, a better version of yourself. And that transformation isn't created in one big moment. It's crafted in the quiet, mundane, everyday decisions. The alarm clock you honor, the workout you don't skip, the work you do when no one is clapping. The promises you keep to yourself. That's where greatness lives. It's not in the spotlight. It's in the shadows where discipline is forged. You see, the world teaches us to value speed. How fast can you get there? How quickly can you grow? How many followers? How much money? How soon can you win? But speed doesn't guarantee sustainability. You can sprint for a moment and then crash. You can go hard for a week and then burn out. But if you learn to master consistency, you can go forever. And that's what being unstoppable is about, not about going fast, but about never stopping. Because if you never stop, you will get there. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but inevitably you will arrive. That's a promise. You have to learn to fall in love with the process, not just the reward, not just the praise. Because there will be days, long stretches even, where the reward is invisible, the praise doesn't come, the result isn't there. And if your motivation only lives in the outcome, then your fire will go out fast. But when your motivation is internal, when it's driven by purpose, by growth, by a deep desire to honor who you are becoming, then nothing can extinguish that flame. There's something powerful that happens when you stop relying on feeling and start relying on your values. Feelings are fleeting. They change with the weather, with your energy, with your mood. But your values, they are constant, they are your anchor. When you choose to act in alignment with your values, your discipline, your resilience, your integrity, then you don't need to feel good to do good. You don't need to feel motivated to move forward. You become the kind of person who shows up regardless. And that's rare. That is powerful. That is unstoppable. Think about it. Every major achievement in human history was not built in a moment of excitement. It was built through seasons of unseen effort. Olympic champions don't win gold because they felt like training every day. They win because they trained whether they felt like it or not. Entrepreneurs don't build lasting businesses by chasing only the exciting parts. They build them by showing up through the setbacks, through the silence, through the failures. The artist doesn't master their craft by painting only when inspiration strikes. They become great by painting every single day, even when they hate what they're creating. Because it's not about the temporary emotion, it's about the long-term mission, and the mission has to matter. You have to know your why. Why are you doing this? Why does it matter? Why are you willing to sacrifice comfort, time, convenience? If your why is strong enough, your how will show up. But you have to dig deep. Surface level reasons won't keep you going when it's 5 a.m. and you're exhausted, or when the results don't come as quickly as you hoped, or when no one is supporting you. You need a reason rooted in something deeper. Legacy, purpose, impact, growth. When you have that, you become unshakable. Another truth that people often miss is that the greatest form of self-respect is consistency. Keeping promises to yourself is the most powerful way to build confidence. Every time you do what you said you would do, you cast a vote for the kind of person you believe you are. And the more votes you cast, the more you start seeing yourself differently. You stop identifying as someone who tries and start becoming someone who is strong, someone who is focused, someone who follows through. That shift in identity is what propels you forward when everything else tries to hold you back. You also have to understand that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to do the work for you. Yes, you may have support. Yes, you may have mentors, friends, teammates. But at the end of the day, you are responsible for your consistency. You are responsible for your discipline. You are responsible for whether you show up or not. And the sooner you take ownership of that truth, the sooner you take your power back. Because once you own it, nothing can stop you. You're no longer waiting for perfect conditions or for someone to push you. You become your own engine. That engine needs fuel, though. And the best fuel is not hype. It's habits. Hype fades. Motivation fades, but habits stick. And the best way to stay consistent is to build systems that make it hard to fail. Don't rely on willpower. Design your environment to support your goals. Put your shoes by the door if you want to run. Prep your meals if you want to eat clean. Team. Block out time on your calendar if you want to write that book. Make it easier to succeed than to fail. That's what consistency looks like. It's not heroic. It's strategic. And when setbacks come, and they will, don't see them as signs to stop. See them as part of the process. Every person who has ever achieved anything worthwhile has stumbled, has fallen, has doubted themselves. The difference is they didn't quit. They didn't make failure their identity. They got back up. They learned. They grew. And they kept going. That's what consistency looks like. Not perfection, but persistence. Not flawless execution, but relentless commitment. Eventually, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. And it won't be because of one massive moment. It will be because of thousands of small moments where you chose not to quit, where you did the work, where you stayed focused, where you kept your word to yourself. That's how legacies are built. That's how movements are born. That's how ordinary people become extraordinary. So what does it mean to be unstoppable? It means showing up every day, not just when it's easy, not just when it's fun, not just when it's new, but every single day with commitment, with purpose, with discipline. It means understanding that consistency is the bridge between where you are and where you want to go. And if you're willing to cross that bridge, step by step, day by day, there is nothing you cannot achieve. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the most gifted. You just need to be the one who refuses to stop. The one who honors the process. The one who keeps pushing, keeps growing, keeps becoming. That's the real secret. That's the real win. And when you embrace that, when you live that, you are truly, undeniably unstoppable. The truth is, success doesn't belong to the smartest, the most gifted, or the most fortunate. It belongs to those who refuse to quit. To those who stay the course, no matter the weather, no matter the mood, no matter the odds. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it's the real secret. It's the daily decision to keep showing up, to keep working, to keep working, to keep grinding, even when the world isn't watching. Because while others stop and start, fade in and out, get distracted by doubt, you're building something greater. You're building discipline, character, identity. And over time, the world will see the results. But more importantly, you will see what you're truly capable of. So when you feel tired, when you feel uninspired, when everything in you wants to quit, remember why you started. Remember the promise you made to yourself. The journey is long, the road is rough, but if you can stay consistent, you'll discover a power inside you that no failure, no delay, no obstacle can ever stop. That's what it means to be unstoppable, not to be perfect, not to be lucky, but to never stop moving forward. One day, one step, one choice at a time.